Welcome back, everybody, to the Baltimore Orioles franchise here on MLB The Show 21. Today, we will be continuing the month of June here in season number 2 of the series. Last episode was the MLB draft. I will leave a card in the top right of your screen if you did miss that, and I will give you a few seconds to decide whether you want to stay on this video or go to that one.
A few moments later.
Alright, so let's talk about our draft. Of course, we had the number 1 overall pick, and we selected outfield prospect Xavier Bowman from St. Christopher's High School in Richmond, Virginia. Bowman is a 72 overall. I think he's the leadoff hitter of the future. Solid defender, solid speed, good contact, and I think the power will come. I think him and our first-round pick last year, Louis St. John, can be a deadly duo. And don't forget, our outfield is loaded in the minors with guys like Christian Robinson, Heliot Ramos, and Heston Kjerstad. We have a lot of choices in the outfield going forward, and it will be interesting to see which guys play above the others. The rest of our draft was fine. I think we did a little bit underwhelming in the following picks, although we did get some good players such as Cosmo Cruz and the raw catcher Zach Durham. So overall, a pretty good draft. I don't think it's as deep as last year's, but still pretty solid. So I wanted to play this Atlanta Braves series because we don't get to see the Braves a ton, and they are a fun young squad. A lot of good players such as Ronald Acuna Jr. and Ozzie Albies. But before that, I do want to make some moves. I wanted to look for pitchers. I wanted to find someone young who had good walks per 9. There were a few interesting names, including Duncan Driscoll, who I almost picked in the first round last year, but I don't think the Angels would want to trade him. A different guy who fit my criteria was Manuel Abreu, an 18-year-old from the Braves organization from the Dominican Republic. I put him in the trade finder, and of these 6 offers here, I didn't really like any of them. I tried to do something manually, which would have included us sending them Jorge Lopez and Daniel Carmenera, but I wasn't really able to get anything going. So I decided to transition towards a more MLB-established pitcher in Elieser Hernandez from the Miami Marlins. If you remember a couple episodes ago, they offered him to us in a trade for Ivan Cortez Jr., which we declined, but I did like the possibility of getting Hernandez, and I wanted to keep my eyes open for him. He's had a great year, 2.4 ERA, 1.23 whip. I'm not really sure why they're so willing to trade him. They do have a lot of good pitchers in their farm system, but it's not like they have Max Meyer anymore because we have him, so now we're stealing another one of their pitchers. In exchange for Hernandez, we'll be giving them Anthony DeSclafani, a solid veteran rotation option, along with a couple other C prospects who really aren't that special. I think that's a steal of a trade for us. I don't know why the Marlins wanted to trade him that bad. I wanted to play his first game as an Oriole, so I simulated the first 2 games of the Braves series, which we lost them both. And before Elieser Hernandez's Orioles debut, I wanted to make a few in-organization roster moves. We're going to be sending Aristides Aquino and Alex Reyes down to AAA. Both of them have been very disappointing this year. Reyes has been bad for the start, and Aquino's just been in a pretty bad slump, so I think having them down in the minors would do them well. The 2 players who I'm going to call up to replace them are not on the 40-man, so we will be taking 2 guys off the 40-man roster in relief pitcher Isaac Madison and first baseman Tyler Nevin. I don't need those guys on the 40-man, and there are a couple young players in the organization who I think are MLB ready, including 26-year-old relief pitcher Adrian Almeida, who's had a really good season this year in AAA, and I think he is ready for the big leagues. I think he can be a solid lefty arm in the bullpen, and I think he's going to make a big impact. The big name we're going to be calling up, however, is shortstop prospect Marco Luciano. We acquired Luciano last year from the Giants. He played well in 2021 in AA, and so far this year in AAA, he's been exceptional, hitting .302 with an .830 OPS, 4 home runs, which is not bad for this stage of the season for AAA. It might be a little bit early to call him up, but I think he's ready. He has all of his minor league options, so if he does struggle, we can always send him down. I was anticipating calling up Heliot Ramos around this time, but he was disappointing in AAA. He's actually moved down to AA. Marco Luciano is our 2nd-ranked prospect in the organization, 29th in the big leagues, 1 spot ahead of Louis St. John. The only prospect ranked ahead of Luciano currently is Max Meyer, who I think is like 11th or 12th. So Luciano will be inserted into the lineup as an everyday player. I feel that there's no reason to not have him as an everyday player. If we're going to call him up, we might as well have him playing, so he will play every day for us. And then here are the pitching stats, of course, with the new addition of Elieser Hernandez who will be making his team debut today, and in the process, we will also see the Major League debut of Marco Luciano and the possible Major League debut of Adrian Almeida. So it's going to be fun seeing some new faces. We have not really made many roster moves so far this year, so I think this will spice some things up, get some new young blood in the dugout. Game 3 of a 3-game set here at Camden Yards. The Orioles taking on the Braves. Baltimore trying to avoid the sweep, but the bigger storyline is the new faces who will be making their Oriole debuts today. Most notably, shortstop prospect Marco Luciano, one of the top prospects in the major leagues. We will also see, of course, the debut of Eliezer Hernandez and possibly Adrian Almeida. As we look at both lineups today, Marco Luciano will be hitting 6th. He will be playing designated hitter. He is supposed to be the shortstop of the future, but don't want to overwhelm him on his Major League debut, so he will not be playing the field. Here's Eliezer Hernandez, his 10th start of the year, facing off against a familiar opponent. Being in the NL East his whole career, he has faced against the Braves numerous times. Here's his first batter, Ozzie Albies, goes down looking on the high slider. Good start for Eliezer Hernandez, striking out his first batter as an Oriole. And then here's Freddie Freeman, the former NL MVP, beating the shift perfectly. That one going to drop for extra bases. Freeman in the first year of a 7-year contract extension. The Braves gave him the bag last offseason, and although they may regret that towards the back end of the contract when he's older, he is still one of the best hitters in the big leagues. One of the best young stars, Ronald Acuna, is up. He goes down swinging at the high fastball. That would have been ball 4-2 had he watched that sail by, so a questionable decision by Acuna. As we go to the bottom of the first, Touki Toussaint will be starting for Atlanta. He's had a pretty rough year. 10 starts, 8.55 ERA, 1.93 whip. His walk-to-inning ratio is really bad, and it's just been a down year for him. But his defense will give him some early help. At shortstop, that's the former Oriole Yolmer Sanchez making the play on Jalen Miller to get the out. Ryan Mountcastle is now up at the plate. Mountcastle has, of course, had a phenomenal season. He has tailed down as of late, but he will make an impact early today. Mountcastle starts the game with a solo shot in the left center field, and the Baltimore Orioles will take a 1-0 lead. A big home run for Mountcastle as he tries to keep his great season going. He has been quiet the past couple of weeks, but overall it has been a splendid season for Mountcastle. Let's go to the bottom of the second inning now. 1-0 remains the score, as here is Marco Luciano, the 19-year-old from the Dominican Republic, in his first Major League at-bat. The 1-2 pitch. This one will get by the glove of the third baseman for a hit. So in Marco Luciano's first Major League at-bat, he gets his first Major League hit. Luciano's career batting average is now 1,000. Will it stay at 1,000 for very long? No, it will not, but only so many people can say they got a hit on their first at-bat. The first base coach bringing the ball into the dugout, that's going to be a souvenir that Luciano holds on to for the rest of his life. Certainly, I want to keep that ball safe. Luciano, unfortunately, will not score this inning as Liam Bumaye will strike out. Let's go to the top of the third inning now. Eliezer Hernandez pitching really well today, as this is Avisail Garcia, the 9th hitter in the lineup, hitting that one nicely into right for extra bases. The throw to second is not in time, and Garcia finds himself in scoring position with nobody out. A nice opportunity for the Braves to try to get some runs. 2-on, 2-out for Acuna. He swings and misses at the fastball. Pair of strikeouts in big situations for Ronald Acuna. I think both of his at-bats he's had runners in scoring position, but he has not been clutch. Let's go bottom three now. Jalen Miller leading things off. He's going to bloop this one into right, and it will drop. Nice play for Miller. In his previous at-bat, a great defensive play robbed him from a base hit, and luckily that's not going to happen again. So Miller will reach base. That'll bring up the catcher, Adley Rutschman, who of course has had a great season, hitting around 320. He is the leading vote getter in the American League in the All-Star game for catcher. But that was not a great at-bat as he grounds into a double play. So I'm hyping him up, and then he just does that. Top of the fourth inning, Marcell Ozuna will hit the ball off of Eliezer Hernandez for a hit. You know, I could make an out-of-pocket Marcell Ozuna joke right now. I'm not going to do that because I want to be professional. But I think you guys know where I'm going with this. I could say something funny. We'll leave it at that. So Ozuna reaches base. That'll bring up Eugenio Suarez, the following batter who was acquired last year in a trade with the Reds. Suarez, shop and gap. That'll go for extra bases. Ozuna will score from first. And the Atlanta Braves will tie the game up at 1. A big double for Suarez to finally put this high-octane Atlanta offense on the board. Avisail Garcia with runners on the corner and 1 out, grounded to short. Possible double play. The throw to first is not in time. So not only does the inning survive, but a run scores, and it's now 2-1. I feel like that was a dirty play by the guy sliding into second. He literally slid right into Jalen Miller. The Braves will capitalize off of keeping the inning alive as Yolmer Sanchez will rip a 2-run double. This game should arguably be 1-1 right now had it not been for that debatably dirty slide, but now it is 4-1. The inning will come to a close off of a nice play by Eliezer Hernandez to possibly save a run. That'll end Hernandez's day. The Orioles don't want to overwhelm him, plus his pitching count is getting a little bit high. 4 innings, 4 earned runs. Not his best performance, but he looked outstanding the first 3 innings. And to be honest, 4 runs should not have scored in that inning. Bottom 4, Marco Luciano up with 2 outs. This one looks like it'll be flown out to right. Luciano, unfortunately, no longer has a career batting average of 1,000, as that one will be caught in right by Garcia. Luciano is now only hitting 500. I say only as a joke. Adrian Almeida checking in for his Major League debut. Good to see him getting some action today. His first batter is Ronald Acuna. Definitely a challenge, but Almeida with a great defensive play to throw him out. An incredible defensive play by Almeida to get out the speedy Ronald Acuna. As we get a look at a frustrated Eliezer Hernandez in the bench, not thrilled with his Oriole debut. Marcell Ozuna strikes out, the first Major League K for Adrian Almeida. Certainly a nice accomplishment there. Hopefully he has plenty more strikeouts to come. The following batter, Eugenio Suarez, draws a walk. So that's the first batter Adrian Almeida will allow. We'll see if Suarez is able to score, and it looks like the answer is going to be no, as Travis d'Arnaud will fly out to center. Starling Marte makes the play, and overall, a really strong inning of work from Adrian Almeida. 1 runner left on, 1 strikeout, nobody scores. Let's go to the bottom of the 5th. We have not talked a lot about Touki Toussaint today, but he has been impressive. Although he has not been good this year, got to give him his flowers. He has had a nice performance. Liam Bumaye does rip a base hit. Orioles trying to get back on the scoreboard, make this game a little bit closer, as Jalen Miller will ground this one to second with 2 outs. Ozzy Albies makes the play, and that will end the inning. Another shutout frame for Touki Toussaint, who has not allowed a run since the first inning of this game. And we will transition into the 6th inning as Dylan Tate checks in for Baltimore. Tate has been fairly mediocre this year. He hasn't been bad. I wouldn't say he's been good either. An ERA hovering around 5. As here's Avisail Garcia ripping that one into left field, and that one will go over the fence for a 2-run shot, and the Braves will make it 6-1. Quite the performance from Avisail Garcia. He's had a really nice day hitting the ball, and he's the 9th hitter in the Braves lineup. You wouldn't expect him to be the one to do it, but he continues to be a relevant player, and he's been a solid starting caliber outfielder for almost a decade. Nice line out there to end the inning. That'll end Dylan Tate's day. 1 inning, 2 runs allowed. Not his best work. Bottom of the 6th inning, Ryan Mountcastle rips a base hit into center field with 1 out. That'll get a runner on base for the Orioles, and that'll lead to an Atlanta Braves pitching change as Sean Newcomb will come in. Again, Touki Toussaint pitched well. 5 1/3 innings. He's only allowed 1 run. If Mountcastle scores, that'll mean Toussaint will have allowed 2 runs today. But overall, he was impressive. Trey Mancini going to be hitting this one into the right center gap for extra bases. Mountcastle should be able to score from first, and it looks like he will. An RBI double for Mancini, and it is now 6-2. Although a lot of the focus this year has been on how guys like Mountcastle and Adley Rutschman have played, Trey Mancini is quietly having another all-star caliber season. With his contract being up at the end of the year, he could be a nice deadline piece to possibly trade. Here is Marco Luciano with an RBI double, and the Orioles make it 6-3. Luciano drives at his first Major League run, his first Major League extra base hit, and currently Luciano is 2 for 3 with a run batted in his debut. Pretty impressive. Wander Suero will enter the game here in the top of the 7th for the Orioles. He's had a pretty bad year. Going to try to pick things up as he does strike out Marcell Ozuna. Nice K for Suero. Let's move forward now to the bottom of the 7th. It's Liam Bumaye. He will get that one to second. A great play by Ozzy Albies. The throw to first, not in time. Nice hustle by Bumaye. And with 1 out, that'll put a base runner on for the Orioles. 2 away now for Adley Rutschman, who's been very quiet, 0 for 3 today. Going to try to make his mark known here. That one looks like it'll drop for an extra base hit. Bumaye should score, and this game is starting to get interesting as it's now 6-4. The Braves' bullpen in recent years has blown many games, and if the Orioles keep hitting like this game could be another one of those examples. Top of the 8th inning, Wander Suero stays in, but that might have been a mistake as Ozzie Albies hits a double. The runner is headed home. That's Garcia. The throw from the cutoff man is in time! Avisail Garcia is gunned down. A great play by the Oriole defense. Marte got it to Andrelton Simmons, who launched a laser to home plate. And Adley Rutschman cleanly applying the tag on Garcia to keep the game at 6-4. With the Orioles hitting the ball well and the margin for error being slim, that could be a gigantic out. Here is the bottom of the 8th inning, 2 away for Luciano. Weekly hits this one. Luciano nearly safe at first, but Ozzie Albies with a barehanded throw. I don't know why Marco Luciano swung at that pitch, but it nearly worked. I got to give him a little bit there. Let's go to the top of the 9th. Baltimore down by 2, trying to get a drastic comeback as Travis Lakins Sr. will enter. Lakins has been the only consistent reliever in the bullpen for the most part this year. Although Colin Poche has played well as of recent, I think Lakins has been far and away the best reliever on this team this year. The inning would go fairly smoothly as the Braves do leave one on but are unable to score anybody. So it is 6-4 going into the bottom of the 9th. Can the Orioles score at least 2 to keep the game alive, or will they get swept? Chris Martin is in for the save. He's been really good this year for Atlanta. In 22 save opportunities, he's gotten 21 saves. With 2 outs, it would be Liam Bumaye at the plate, but the Orioles are actually going to make a pinch hitting change. Bumaye does have 2 base hits today, but apparently they trust Willie Calhoun more, and Calhoun will line this one out to center. It is caught, and the Braves win it. Final score is 6-4, a hard-fought effort for Baltimore, but they're unable to get the win and unable to avoid the sweep. The new contributions were, for the most part, good. Adrian Almeida had a nice shutout inning. Marco Luciano looked impressive in his debut, 2 for 4 with an RBI double. Eliezer Hernandez was not as good. He did have 3 shutout innings, but didn't do all that well in the 4th. Both teams hit the ball pretty well today. 12 hits, 6 runs for Braves. 10 hits, 4 runs for the Orioles. Tuku Toussaint with the win for Atlanta, one of his better starts of the year. And obviously, Eliezer Hernandez gets the loss, and that will push his record down to 4-3. So you certainly don't like to get swept, and our team has been playing fairly well as of recent, so that's kind of a momentum killer. We're going to simulate a 4-game series against the Rangers. They're really bad. We should win 3 of these games, in my opinion, and after simming those games, we would, in fact, go 3-1. We won 10-2, lost 5-6, won 20-3, and then won 5-4. I gotta look at this box score. How did we manage to score 20 runs? Well, everybody hit the ball well. 4 hits for Bumaye, 4 for Marte. Andrelton Simmons went 4 for 4 and drew 3 walks. He had 7 plate appearances and reached base all 7 times. Home runs for Marte, Mountcastle, Bumaye, and Rivera. And the Rangers' pitching clearly was a disaster. Eduardo Rodriguez got the win, but he could have allowed 19 runs and still technically gotten it. So we're going to play this series against the Red Sox. They lead the AL East, led by their secret weapon of Lenny Lane, who signed here from Japan last offseason. Lenny Lane, of course, the father of Benny Lane. He has been really good for them so far this year. And for anyone curious, through 5 games, Marco Luciano is hitting .300. That is pretty good to see. I know it's a very small sample size, but if he keeps playing like this, he's going to be stuck on the Major League roster, and we're not going to have a reason to send him down. So here's Game 1 of a 3-game set at Fenway Park as the 27-30 Orioles take on the AL East leading 35-22 Boston Red Sox. I know, my Boston accent's a little bit cringy. Here's a look at both lineups. Lenny Lane will be playing DH. He will be hitting 3rd for Boston today. Marco Luciano will be hitting 2nd. That is the highest I think he's been in the lineup. Luke Weaver will be starting for Boston. He's been a little bit of a journeyman. Started his career in St. Louis. Traded to Arizona in the Paul Goldschmidt trade. Didn't really work out there. And now he is in Beantown. Here's the leadoff hitter, Jalen Miller, hitting this one high and pretty deep into left field. And that one will go off the green monster. It looks like 4 extra bases as Jalen Miller comes flying into second base. And he will reach with an early double. So a nice start offensively for the Orioles, as that will bring up Marco Luciano, and he will hit this one fairly nicely into right. Miller did not start running until the ball dropped. I don't know if he expected it to be caught. It looked like that whole time the ball was going to drop for a hit, so I don't really know why he stayed, but I guess it's better to be safe than sorry. That'll bring up Adley Rutschman, who launches a nuclear bomb deep into right field, and the Orioles will take a 3-0 lead here in the top of the first. A missile from Adley Rutschman, his 8th home run of the season. Rutschman is continuing his great year at the plate. This year has been about contact for him. He's still hitting around 320. The power has not been outstanding, but for a 22-year-old catcher, 8 home runs at this stage of the season is more than fine. That'll bring it Ryan Mountcastle now. This one looks like it has a chance. Deep into center, it is caught by Verdugo. So the Red Sox finally get an out, but it's more so because of a great defensive play. Later in the first inning, 1 on for Anthony Santander. Grounds this one to first, and the Sox will get the 3-6-1 double play, but not before Adley Rutschman hits a 3-run homer. So here's Eliezer Hernandez. This is his second start with the Orioles. I know we already saw him today, but I wanted to pitch with him again. Here is Brian Reynolds. He will go down looking. So that will bring up Lenny Lang, the 36-year-old rookie sensation who has taken the major leagues by storm. And in his first at-bat game, he will casually lift a home run over the Green Monster to put the Red Sox on the board. For those unfamiliar with his son, Benny Lang was a great first baseman in our Pirates series. Benny peaked when he was like 21 years old. His dad, Lenny, is peaking in his late 30s. Kind of ironic. Top of the second inning, here is Santiago Rivera with a moonshot into right and a sick bat flip. Rivera was not even supposed to play today, but after Trey Mancini suffered some muscle tightness in his shoulder, he was taken out of the lineup last second. Rivera was inserted in his place, and Santiago Rivera is making the most of his extra opportunity. Later in the inning, here is Jalen Miller, who launches the bat into the stands. So somebody just got themselves an extra souvenir. When you're in that range of the field, you're looking for foul balls, but somebody got a foul bat today. Hopefully everyone is okay, and then on the following pitch, Jalen Miller will not even swing. He will just go down looking instead. But the Orioles' offense is looking good so far. 4 runs through the first 2 innings. Bottom of the second inning, it's Xander Bogaerts, who is one of the most underrated players in the major leagues. He's been such a good player for literally the past 5 years. Man does not get his respect. He's hitting .319 this year, just really raking at the plate per usual. And he starts today off with a double, wouldn't you know it, his 20th of the year. Alex Verdugo now with 1 away. He will rip this one into right center field. Starling Marte decides not to charge for the ball rather than play it safely. Bogaerts will score, and the Sox will make it 4-2. So both offenses are looking good early. Eliezer Hernandez not looking great in his second start. Here is Kevin Plawecki now. Shop and gap. That one is going to drop for extra bases, and the Red Sox look like they're going to tie it at 4. Quite the start offensively today for both teams, and I've got to say, maybe the trade hurt Eliezer Hernandez. His ERA was at 2.4 in Miami, but he has really struggled with the Orioles so far. Whit Merrifield now rips that one off the wall for a double. Still only 1 out, by the way. This inning has been a disaster thus far for Eliezer Hernandez. Lenny Lang is now up. He will strike out on the inside slider. A gigantic play for Eliezer Hernandez, who goes down grinning and dancing to the dugout. Although he shouldn't be happy after allowing 3 runs, I've got to say, if I was a coach, I would rather my pitcher be confident than have their head held down. Let's go to the 4th inning now. 4-4 remains your score as Andrelton Simmons gets that one off the monster. However, the runner, Starling Marte, is out at third. So the hit from Simmons proves to not be a big deal as the Red Sox still do get an out there. That'll bring up Liam Bumaye, who bat flips a bomb into left center field. That one goes over the Green Monster, and the Orioles will make it 6-4. Bumaye with his 10th home run of the season. It's been a slow start to the year for Liam Bumaye, but he has had a pretty nice month of June, and he is really earning the ability to be a full-time everyday player. Alex Verdugo goes down looking. It seems like Eliezer Hernandez is starting to pitch a little bit better, as here's Kevin Plawecki, who had a 2-run double earlier. This time he will strike out. A big play for Hernandez, who is up to 6 on the game. Top of the 5th inning now. Baltimore trying to extend their lead, and that looks like it might help. Ryan Mountcastle with a liner into left That one looks like it'll drop for extra bases, and indeed, it'll be a sliding double with one out for Ryan Mountcastle, and Baltimore has a nice opportunity. The pitcher for the Sox will be taken out of the game, and Brent Suter will enter. Not a great game for Luke Weaver, and I think Suter would certainly love to shut the door on this inning, but it's not going to be that easy, as Starling Marte will single into center field, and the runner Mountcastle will score, and Baltimore's offense continuing to really slug it here in this one, as it is now 7-4. Now we've got runners on the corners and one out for Santiago Rivera, who is 2 for 2 today. Going to try to make it 3 for 3, and he is unsuccessful. A great diving play by Alex Verdugo, who is one of the best gloves in the big leagues. The Orioles will score off of the sac fly, as Starling Marte will slide safely, so it is now 8-4. But still, what a defensive play by Alex Verdugo, who makes these plays routinely. I mean, he is an absolute defensive stud out there in center field. Here is Xander Bogaerts now in the bottom of the 5th inning. He hits this one pretty nicely into right field for an RBI. Bogaerts trying to head to second for whatever reason, and he will be out by a mile. I don't really know why he did that, but he does still get a run to score, so it is now 8-5. And that'll end Eliezer Hernandez's day. I think Hernandez pitched a little bit worse today than he did in the Atlanta game. Hernandez has allowed 9 runs in 9 innings of action so far at the Orioles, so overall not great thus far. Top of the 6th inning, a 3-run lead for Baltimore, but they will make it a 4-run lead. Liam Bumaye with his 11th home run of the year, his 2nd of the day, and Baltimore is now up 9-5. Quite the performance for Liam Bumaye in this episode. He had 2 hits in the first game, now it's 2 home runs in the second game. Bottom of the 6th now, it's Adrian Almeida who will check in. Almeida had a 2-inning performance in the sim in that series against the Rangers, did not allow any runs, so it seems like he's still doing quite well, and his bottom of the 6th inning would go smoothly. 1, 2, 3 go down the Sox, and it remains 9-5 with 3 innings of action left to go. We'll see if the Orioles can hang on and get a nice win to start this series off. Let's go to the bottom of the 7th inning now. The Orioles were unable to score in the top half of the inning. As of 2 outs and 1 on, Lenny Lane will draw a walk. That'll bring up J.D. Martinez with a nice opportunity to break this game wide open, but instead he will strike out. That will end Adrian Almeida's day. 2 more shutout innings. Got a little bit dicey here in the bottom of the 7th, but he was able to get out of that jam fairly easily. Dan Altavilla will check in here in the 8th inning. He's had a nice season this year. The Red Sox acquired him earlier this season from the Tigers in exchange for Brendan Rodgers. Brendan Rodgers, a failed top prospect trying to rejuvenate his career in Detroit, as Jalen Miller will hit a home run, scraping over the fence in right center, his 5th of the year, and Baltimore now with double digits, they make it 10-5. Although Eliezer Hernandez has not looked his best today, unlike the first game of the episode against the Braves, the offense has definitely given him run support. Travis Lakins will enter here in the bottom of the 8th. He is still pitching really well, but his day would start off a little bit shaky as Boston starts feeding with 2 runners on. This game is not over. They're only down by 5, and their lineup is really dangerous. Rafael Devers on a 9-game hitting streak, by the way. Devers is also one of the more underrated players in baseball. He is really dominant at the plate for a young age. Verdugo goes down looking. 1 away for Garrett Cooper. He grounds it to 3rd. Baltimore going to try to turn 2, and they do. The Sox are unable to score a big 5-4-3 double play to keep this one at 10-5. Darwinzion Hernandez will enter here in the top of the 9th. He's had a great year, ERA barely above 1, as his day will not start off great. Adley Rutschman gets that one off of the Green Monster. Rutschman headed for second safely. The Orioles comfortably lead this game 10-5, but clearly they are not satisfied. They want more runs on the scoreboard. The following batter, Starling Marte, hits this one really high. That one may have touched the moon. It was so high up there. It goes off the top of a monster. In any other stadium, that's probably a home run. Instead, it is only a double as Marte walks into second with ease. Adley Rutschman will score, and the Orioles make it 11-5. Although Starling Marte has hit for solid contact this year, he's not gotten a lot of extra base hits with his OPS barely above 600. Here's Colin Poche in the bottom of the 9th. Going to try to end the game smoothly, and he does. A 1-2-3 inning from Poche, ending with a Brian Reynolds strikeout. And the Orioles win it by the final score of 11-5. I swear, we've had probably the most games this year out of any team in the majors to score double-digit runs. When this offense is on, they can be on. Marco Luciano, unfortunately, was not outstanding. He only went 1 for 5. It was 2 strikeouts, but everybody else dominated. 2 home runs for Bumaye, 1 for Rutschman, 1 for Rivera, 1 for Miller. Eliezer Hernandez was not great, but the bullpen did really well. They did not allow any runs, whereas the Red Sox bullpen was not good. We scored in all but 2 innings, including 3 runs in the first, and multi-run innings in the 4th and 5th as well. Our offense is fairly inconsistent on a game-to-game basis, but again, when this team can get hot, they can do things in spurts. That is our 3rd double-digit run game in the past 5 days. So we're going to simulate about 2 weeks in the future, 2 games against Boston, 3 against Texas, 4 against Tampa Bay, and 2 against Washington. We got offered an interesting trade from the Diamondbacks for offering us an 8 potential pitching prospect in Jackson Goddard in exchange for Reynaldo Lopez and Jorge Mateo. I said no, but I was tempted. So in that 11-game stretch, we played fairly average. We went 6-5, winning 1 of 2 against Boston, 2 of 3 against Texas, 2 of 4 against the Rays, and 1 of 2 against Washington. So overall, fairly mediocre, not bad, but not great either. We're 34-35, 1 game under 500, and as we get closer to the deadline, we're going to have to make some tough decisions. Do we want to contend for a wild card spot this year, or do we want to sell off some of our veteran pieces like Starling Marte and Andrelton Simmons and possibly Eduardo Rodriguez? We have another month to decide, which isn't, I think, more than enough time, but it's fairly unclear which direction this team will go come the trade deadline. Hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're new. And as always, have a good one. Peace out.